Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien on Monday, November the 14th, 2022. Sitting in for Paul Harvey. Today, stand by for the rest of the story. Well, the rest of the story today is Constitution. It's been a week since you had your so-called midterms, elections, and you Americans have learned absolutely nothing. You put the Democrats and Republicans back in the same positions they were before. So you gained absolutely nothing. The Democrats controlled the Senate, the Republicans may control the House, or maybe the Democrats will. But either way, it means that you lost again, because you lost the meaning of Constitution. When the shooting ended and the people stopped getting killed, and they declared a ceasefire, and the Republic of the United States came into being, so you say, on October of 1781, and then you were ruled under the Articles of Confederation, loosely 13 colonies who had little or nothing in common, who could barely look after each other, let alone talk to each other. Yes. And you had a serious problem because you couldn't take care of yourselves. And the going concern with the British was, who's going to win, us or them? Because they were betting that you guys could beat them. But could you feed and govern yourselves? And they said no, and they were right. You guys were having a hard time between 1781 and 1786. In 1787, you formed a little convention, as you called it, the Constitutional Convention. Thomas Jefferson called it the Convention of Demigods, and he meant that as a compliment, because you guys were kind of demigods, really. It's the way he looked at it. So you started in trying to form another form of government. Meanwhile, you had a guy getting old, Benjamin Franklin, who, was studying a republic, as he called it. In this republic, it had a constitution. It had 3 forms of government. It had a parliament, had a judiciary, and it had an executive. It also had the number 1 rule of people, freedom for the people. But the freedom was legislated. And you only got a certain amount of freedom, because if you didn't, and to make it a true democracy, they knew that the Confederation could not stand. Okay? So they made provisions accordingly. But some provisions they didn't make, and it cost them their Confederation. Franklin was very much encouraged by this. He really studied it for decades, this Constitution. And another guy who studied it for decades, Thomas Jefferson. According to your history, you say that James Madison was the architect of the Constitution. Well, in certain respects he was. But his mentor was Thomas Jefferson, whose mentor was Benjamin Franklin. So the Constitution that they were creating was a mirror copy of the Constitution that was already in existence for 300 years. The people in question are no longer around. because they failed to understand other people. And the other people took advantage of them and destroyed them. But they couldn't destroy the one thing they had, the Constitution, which served as a blueprint for their own Constitution. I mean yours. And I am interested in this because, as you guys would put it, to the Asians later, but to them first, why should we worry about savages? Well, then, Americans, I put it to you. Why did you copy a savage's constitution in the first place? And I'm talking about the Iroquois Confederacy Constitution, which you adopted in 1788 as yours. Tell me that. This is your favorite alien sitting in for Paul Harvey. And now you know the rest of the story. Good day.